Hello. Hello, world.
Indeed. Good morning and welcome to Fun with Flags. No, wait, that's not right. Welcome to the Global Star Party. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to our live event where we share out live views of, well, stuff in space, generally speaking. Stars, planets, the sun, moon, clouds, plenty of clouds. In fact, clouds are going to be a pain.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting a strange echo thing. There we go. Sorry, that was a bit of a weird moment. I think there was a technical problem there. I'm going to blame technical problems. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I had a weird problem then. Okay, I think it's back. Sorry, hi. Yeah, technical problems. This does happen when it's live, so this is one of those risks. So yes, welcome to the Global Star Party, where we share our live views of things in space. And today we have a whole panel of people joining us, including a fellow sleepy Brit, because as if you're aware of the time zone thing, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning here, which is a little bit intense. So yeah, good morning. So
It's also the 4th of July.
It is the 4th of July. I believe it's some kind of beer and fireworks day in America for some reason. Apparently. Yeah, so that's America. There's probably no American astronomers. Oh, no, actually, no, tell a lie. Stephanie's here. Currently surrounded by fireworks and explosions. But anyhow, first of all, hello to Dylan.
Hi guys, Dylan here from Byron Bay, and the first day I will be bringing you a live telescope view, not terribly impressive, but white light view of the sun. So we can see those active sunspots. I think there's only one really active one and a bunch of other ones, but there's a few there. There's a few little ones there, and Paul will be with us later as well.
Indeed, Paul once again bringing the live, assuming the clouds haven't completely ruined it.
Hello.
Hello. How are the clouds?
They're still there.
Darn those clouds. But Paul, not to be outdone, I believe has possibly some live views for us, so that's always a good thing. And we also are joined by a fellow Brit who is currently enduring the 3 a.m. So first of all, thank you for joining us at this crazy time, and hello to Grant.
Good morning, good evening, people. My name's Grant. It's my wife Kim in the background there, and we're currently clouded in, but I have a telescope pointing at the moon, so if the clouds break, I will transfer to a live view of the moon.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for joining us and bringing us to the moon. Yes, the moon through the internet. And we're also joined by Stefan, who's currently surrounded by, I suppose, fireworks, beer, and well, fireworks and beer.
Yes, Stephen Ron in good old USA here. I'm currently living between Atlanta and Chattanooga in the American South, and I don't have a scope tonight. Even if I did, it would be clouded out. However, a lot of my neighbors are engaging in a lot of the fireworks ceremony, so you might hear a few pops in the background as I'm talking at some point. I do have a few images to share if you'd like, but otherwise I'll just sort of answer any questions or provide any commentary.
Awesome. Excellent. Now, talking about questions, you can ask questions of us in the Q&A app. So somewhere at the bottom of your screen, if you're watching on YouTube or on the event page, is a little button with Q&A on it. If you click on that, you can ask us, your crazy commentators and the guys bringing the views, any questions, or maybe, you know, just quiz us with crazy things. It's fine. Say hi. It's okay. Just hang out with us. So what are you watching today? You're watching a live streaming view of things in space. You can follow us on Twitter at Global Star Party, where we tweet out bits and bobs that are going on, new images, things like that. We also have a Flickr group. You can find us simply by searching on Flickr for Global Star Party. We keep it nice and simple. But people, you can submit images, astronomical or otherwise, you know, so far as the moon, stars, wide field anything really to do with space that you've taken, and we will share them out on the Hangout. So yeah, please check out the, even if you don't have anything to share out, check out the Flickr group. There's some amazing photos being put up there by people who are on the show regularly, and also general people who are following us. So that is always wonderful to look at. And thank you for everyone that's submitted so far. I think I shall click on Dylan's view there because he's sharing out some of the images that are shared on the Flickr group. Some absolutely fantastic stuff there, which we shall go into in detail in a little bit. So the aim of this show really is to bring live views, and Dylan, for the past few episodes, has, well, let's be honest with you, he struggled with the live views thanks to weather, but, and I'm giving him a lead up here so he can get that camera fired up, he can bring us live views of the sun.
Well, I'm afraid this is going to be a huge denouement because I think the sun's about 5-10 minutes behind clouds by the looks of it. I've got everything set up here ready to go, but it looks like all of us are blighted at this second, the second we went to air. So I might just hop over to some of our Flickr group photos straight away, and it doesn't matter if this is a shorter episode because that's just the nature of astronomy. That's just the way it goes. So let me cue these up and let's run through a few of these excellent images from the week. This one is from Till, hopefully I get this surname right, Britstra, who is in my kind of area. And here we have the very well known, as unless you've been living under a rock, you would have realised that Venus and Jupiter were those two big bright things in the western sky that all of us space nerds kept getting texts and messages from our friends and family saying, what the hell's going on? And we had to explain it to them. This is a beautiful little shot. You can see with the aperture he's used, I can't see the details here, but with the aperture he's used has caused these really nice diffraction spikes around Venus. So sometimes when we image the planets in wide field like this, we don't need to see surface detail or the crescent shape or anything like this. Sometimes it's just nice to see to get that relative brightness the way it looked on the night. And I don't know about you guys, but when I saw this driving up the road, it was so low in the sky, and that kind of angle that you can see here, it looked like a 747 was coming into land on the highway. And yeah, I could see how in years past people may have thought these things to be strange events in the sky that they couldn't explain X-Files style, but sorry, it's quite explainable. And I'm just going to stop my rambling for 2 seconds to jump over to
This is a red letter day, ladies and gentlemen, because Dylan is bringing us live. It's live.
I can't believe it.
You can tell it's live because it's one moving around. Two, there's kind of this fuzzy cloudiness, and down a bit, down a bit, down a bit. There we go. And
I'm getting there.
And we've got some sunspots. Look at that. Look at this.
I'm not just a pretty face.
Well, I'm not saying anything. Lovely sunspots, though, there, Dylan. In fact,
yes, just hopped over to space weather and saw that this one here is the really active one. I'm not sure if you can see my cursor there, but this area is the one with causing the filaments and prominences and filoproms. These ones are fairly quiet. But it's spotty. It's spotty like a teenager spotty. Not hugely dramatic or big sunspots, but definitely numerous.
Now then, I actually have a sun-related question in the Q&A app from Ronald Minch. He's like, hey, awesome GSP. So the flares, do they ever reach out in some form to Earth's orbit? Go on, Dylan. I'll throw that one at you.
Sure. Solar flares do affect the Earth in many ways. The solar winds charge and ionize the particles in our atmosphere, and so when we see these ones coming around the limb, they're not really aimed towards us. We see them shooting off into space this way and that way and around the other way. But every now and then when they're around here and spinning around, they'll flick over to us, and that's what causes the northern lights, the aurora, and things like that. I was talking to a local astronomer friend of mine just yesterday who was running a solar observatory in WA for the American Air Force. America! And he was actually, his job was to monitor the solar activity because it affected their communications. So yes, it does have a very tangible effect on the Earth. And now that we have little projects like LightSail out there, solar winds actually propel our spacecraft if we can design them that way. It was the stuff of science fiction, but LightSail is actually out there in space at the minute, and the solar winds can help push LightSail further.
And I was going to say, I mean, whilst the eruptions that we see coming off the sun are absolutely massive, in fact, many times the size of the Earth, the sun is still, fortunately, really, really, really far away. So whilst these eruptions do kick off charged particles that cross over our orbit and collide with our magnetic field, they never actually physically extend so far as that they can actually touch the Earth, which is a very good job because many of them are hundreds of thousands of degrees centigrade. So
that's right. And it's important to remember that it's not fire either. So it's not like a limb of fire stretching out into space and possibly licking the Earth. It's plasma, which is a completely different state of matter. And we are trying here on Earth to make plasma, and if we figure it out, we'll get fusion energy sorted out. But some of what you see in fusion reactors are just massive amounts of lasers and energy trying to make just a few millimeters of this stuff. But no, it's plasma.
So far, I believe our fusion experiments have gotten as far as for what energy we put in, we get out, so it doesn't really give us any benefit. But I've just clicked over to Paul here, who is also sharing the sun live, this time around in Calcium K, to the best of my knowledge. I think we're still working Calcium K, Paul?
Yeah, a bit of live cloud with some Calcium K sun just mixed in.
Well, you know, we're appreciating those live clouds, and you can see, again, much as Dylan's view had the sunspots, the Calcium K shows up the sunspots, and kind of the active areas around them as well, and you can kind of get that between the clouds. But this is the wonders of live astronomy. This is the whole point of the show. It's, you know, we try to bring you the live, but we can also bring you clouds. So if you ever are feeling a little bit of cloud withdrawal, you know, we have them. In fact, look at this. We're bringing more as we speak. Ah, dear. This is the wonders of live. Now, I'm going to click on Stephen's view here and perhaps describe what he's sharing out here, because it's quite an impressive shot because, spoilers, I know what it is. But, Stephen, do you want to describe how you got this and what we're looking at here?
Yes. What you're looking at here is from actually a week ago, actually last Sunday. This was on Sunday night, and you can see in the upper left the object there with the little dots next to it is Jupiter, and you can see a couple of moons there, and the brighter object toward the bottom right is Venus. Now the blades in the camera lens are what produce those spikes that you see there. I used a Canon 70D DSLR and a 135mm lens. I did not use a telescope for this, nor did I have any tracking. I just basically had a tripod set up with the camera there. And what I also wanted to show you real quick is this was again on Sunday. And I also got an image on Monday, and this is how much it moved over the course of one evening. That's from Monday night there. So you can see over the course of one night how much closer Jupiter got to Venus. And actually the following night, Tuesday, they were even closer, but unfortunately I was clouded out that night.
Ah. It's always the way. You see clouds. pesky, pesky clouds. Very, very pretty if you're looking at sunsets, but otherwise just really are annoying. I would like to point out to any of our audience who aren't particularly astronomically minded that whilst we keep saying that Venus and Jupiter are very close, it's only apparent closeness because they are pretty much the other end of the solar system to each other. So yes, there's still a great physical distance between these two objects. It wouldn't exactly be a day trip, but it's quite, I mean, unfortunately I missed out on it in the UK, but it was quite a beautiful view from the photos that I've seen various people publish, and I only missed out on it because of, well, clouds, wretched clouds. Like
and I think it's been a nice little astronomical event for people to watch just day to day. Knowing that it was coming, you could look up and you could see, as Stephen was pointing out, you could see it move from day to day, and how much one of those planets moves in relation to each other across a whole 2 weeks. And we can see it even now. We're watching them slowly separate away. It's been like this wonderful cosmic drama playing out every evening.
What I'm actually enjoying here in these pictures as Stephen flicks between them is the fact you can also see Jupiter's moons just shift position. So, because obviously, I mean, the solar system is this wonderful dynamic system where, you know, you've got moons going around planets, the planets going around the sun, all these wonderful orbits and what have you. It's a, you know, wonderful. I mean, I think many people's impression of the universe as whole is it's quite a static thing. It doesn't change particularly, but if anyone's ever imaged the sun, that changes, you know, minute by minute. The moon, of course, has its phases. The planets have their moons changing orbital positions, things like that. And you have these wonderful events as well, which really just show off how dynamic the universe around us is. And if you've got a lot of patience and a lot of time, you can, of course, watch, I think it's the Crab Nebula, slowly but surely expanding outwards as well. So, now, Dylan, you seem to be bringing us some kind of inverted, strange view.
Oh, yes, there just happened to be an eclipse while we weren't talking. No, this is just the edge detection algorithm in the Canon Backyard EOS software that it just detects those edges where two boundaries meet and highlights them. So I haven't actually done this before. It looks quite trippy.
I was going to say, it's certainly interesting. Actually, Dylan, do you want to just quickly jump over to the view of your lovely self, but then tilt it round so we can see how you're imaging this? See your setup?
Yes, not a problem. So here is my computer, and here's the power pack, and there is this little 4-inch Schmidt Cassegrain. And if you see over the front here, I can't really see my screen. You guys see that okay? That's
you got that, yep.
My super high-tech cardboard and duct tape and Beta solar film assembly there. And that's probably used about $20. Yep. And off the end there is the DSLR.
So there you go. This is further evidence that this is all being done live, Shaky Cam included, and was also secretly a member of Daft Punk.
These are my prescription Beta solar film glasses.
Nice. And you see, now I'm gonna give the de facto warning that yes, looking at the sun, even with sunglasses, even with 10 pairs of sunglasses, is still ridiculously dangerous for your eyeballs. So don't do it unless you have special filter like that. It's not just tinfoil; that is specially designed filter, or a telescope which can show you views of the sun in calcium K like that. And Grant 2 is modelling. Oh, well, fantastic.
Move over Daft Punk. Yeah, we got it going on in the Global Star Party.
Like this. So Grant, you appear to have something in the upper right-hand corner, maybe left-hand. I don't know. Everything's mirrored on my side. You have something in the corner of the screen. What we got there then?
Yeah, that was the SpaceX Falcon 9 launch a few days ago. Unfortunately, it exploded 156 seconds into its flight. It's got a minute 20 seconds to go until it's launched, then I'll expand the screen so you can have a look.
Awesome.
Quite tragic. Quite a lot of experiments on it.
Yes, including some high-tech gaming gear. I'm just gonna point that out. All the gaming websites picked up on that one. It's like it's the first time I've ever seen space picked up by various gaming websites. But apparently some
what kind of
HoloLens
gaming do they have?
They had Yes, there's Microsoft HoloLenses, which if anyone is a gamer and watched E3, they show off this demo where Minecraft comes out of the tables in front of them and you can play with it and what have you. So I'm guessing people on the space station just don't have enough experiments to run, and they're just kind of bored, just floating around up there playing holographic games. Well, they can't now because it blew up. Oops. I'm talking about space station. You see, I'm getting a pro at this whole segue thing. I'm just going to click on Dylan and go, Dylan, you took a really good photo. Tell us all about it.
Okay. I'll just get the photo up here. So I took a photo of the International Space Station whizzing past the moon, and it was the first time I'd been able to do this successfully. There it is there. Can you see that?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So let's see if I can resize this. Oh, yeah, there we go. Right, so this doesn't happen too often from any particular geographic location, but it happens all the time. The International Space Station is whizzing past the Earth at such a great speed and orbiting several times a day, dozens of times a day, that it's not particularly uncommon, and a photo like this isn't particularly uncommon either. But for me, in my backyard, with my Celestron 9 1/4 telescope, it was 12 months before my last opportunity to do this, and that was during the day on a moon that wasn't the full moon. I took this photo and I shared it out on Facebook that night, just straight off the camera, and overnight it had hundreds and hundreds of shares. I got called up by ABC Radio to do an interview. It got picked up by a number of newspapers. It ran on the television that night, and then the next day I was getting calls because it was running on Gizmodo, it was running on Petapixel, it had run on the Weather Channel in the United States, and this morning I could see it was running on Huffington Post and the Daily Mail in the UK there as well. So it's the first thing I've ever done that's really gone viral. From an image processing point of view, the snapshot that really froze the space station is 1/650th of a second. So it's extremely fast shutter speed at ISO 800 to freeze that. But to get the lunar detail, I took a few exposures before and after that particular transit to stack in auto stack it too. Once it was stacked, that allowed me to pull out the saturation without pushing the noise too much. It's still a little bit noisy, but I think the color gives it a little bit more almost dimensionality about it, and for some reason I don't know how any of this viral stuff works, but it really resonated with people, and I was really excited because it resonated with me. I was quite excited to get it. I was doing fist pumps and screaming and yelling, and I was so stoked. I'll give you one more little close-up view. And you can really see the solar array in great detail, including the division between the solar panels and the pressurized modules there. I don't know enough about the ISS to identify them, but yeah, I'm really happy with the resolution that I managed to capture this at.
Nice. That's something I've always wanted to do myself. I've never captured the ISS, and I will one day. I will. There's a lot of stuff to figure out though before I try it. But
I should give a shout out, and I have, to calsky.com, which is the German site which does the calculation. They gave me the alert 7 days before it was going to happen, and then 10 minutes before I took the photo, I double-checked on their website, and the transit had shifted by 15 seconds. And had I not checked in that 10 minutes before, I would have missed the whole thing. But it was shifted by 15 seconds, and it was completely accurate. I fired off the burst of shots as the second approached, and went back in review and checked it out, and there it was.
I was going to say, it's when you go back and review and you're like, yes, it's there. Yes. Pierre Marcus has commented, just saying a really impressive capture, Dylan. He's also commented that even for that shutter speed, It came out quite nice, and I said the saturation. I mean, the one thing I will say about the saturation side of things is that the moon has quite a lot of mineral detail on there. You can tell the different colours and what have you, what kind of minerals are on the ground. Of course, we need another visit to the moon to really get down to the nitty-gritty of it, but those colours kind of represent different mineral regions on the moon. Because, I mean, most people...
So as far as I know, the greenish stuff is lithium. I'm not so sure about the bluish, greyish stuff, but you're right, they do need to go back if they ever want to confirm most of that stuff and get samples from different regions and things like that. But a lot of people don't actually realise that the moon has colour, and I haven't falsified anything about this. All I've done is dragged the saturation slider up a little bit. All of those colours are completely natural. It's not a false colour image. It's just enhanced. So it's enhancing the moon's natural colours.
Nice, and I was going to say, Stephen there is showing off a nicely, this kind of orange moon there. I'm assuming that is either due to A, light pollution, or B, being very low to the ground.
Actually, that's not the case at all. We had an unusual event happen in the States this past week. Earlier in the week, of course, it's summer here in the United States right now, and earlier in the week there were some wildfires in Canada and Alaska. And over the course of several days, the smoke got into the upper atmosphere and blew across the country. And people in the Midwest on Monday were reporting that their moons were looking orange, even though it was the middle of the night. And the moon was not low on the horizon. So on Tuesday, which was again supposed to be the night of the closest conjunction of Jupiter and Venus, I did step out around close to midnight, I guess, and saw that the moon was probably 35, 40 degrees above the horizon, and yes, it was very orange, which is very unusual to see when it's that high. And come to find out, the smoke from the wildfires had made it all the way down to the south. So what you're seeing, the image there, is I did not do any color alteration at all on that moon. I just did combine a few exposures to get more detail, but I didn't do any color changes at all. So that's all done because the smoke from wildfires, for several thousand miles away, did finally come to the south there.
That is absolutely fantastic. I did not expect that at all. I love that. Now, Pierre has also mentioned that the blue is titanium dioxide, usually seen in the, I'm going to say Mare. I'm terrible at pronouncing these things, but that is, to see it orange like that, especially as you say, like when it's high up, is quite fantastic. Like I say, I've never seen anything like that myself, although now I kind of want more wildfires this end of the world. Now, Paul is sharing out. Oh, no, Paul has disappeared. I clicked on Paul and he disappeared. That's upsetting. I killed Paul. I'm sorry, Paul. I don't know what happened then. You disappeared on me. Technology. I was about to click on Paul's fantastic view of the sun. But so, you know what? I didn't do it on purpose, honestly. But I'm just gonna share out the view of the sun I got myself this week, actually on Tuesday, because he says I was trying to click on things frantically. The clicking. Right now then, if I click on this, hopefully you can see a photo of the sun that I took on Tuesday morning this week, actually. Now, I am going to zoom because this is a 36-panel mosaic of the sun. So this is stitched roughly.
My God, man.
I know, right? Unfortunately, my field of view is when I stick a Barlow in isn't exactly large. So yeah, it takes a few panels here and there. But 25.
When you say you did that many panels, are you like manually whizzing around with the mount and just going sort of visually, this is how to do it, or do you have software that does that, or?
No, it's purely visually based. I started off on this top corner with that prominence up here. And then I look for a detail that kind of stands out to my eye, and I slide that detail along until it's in the last kind of quarter of the image on the other side of the image, and then take another capture, and then just repeat the process, kind of zigzagging back and forth across the sun. Each panel is a 30-second capture, normally about 70 frames per second. which really roughly makes out about a gigabyte's worth of data in the video. So then, yes,
So you have to run that stack through all of those videos, so you end up with a bunch of stacked finals, which I imagine you'd crop sort of edges and artifacts off, and then stitch them all together in Photoshop and Photomerge or something like that.
Yeah, I normally either use Microsoft Ice or the Photomerge feature in Photoshop to put it all together. And then once that is done, I normally then go and sharpen up the disk and stretch the levels so it kind of is more contrasty. And then I do the same process all over again for the outer edges. So all these prominences that you see in the corner, I then go and take a separate set of exposures around the edge for those, and also do the same kind of process. It all gets stitched together. It normally takes me a good morning to put it together.
Just as you whiz around there, Google takes a couple of seconds just to catch up and make it sharp again. Could you pull it back around to that flary kind of area on the left there?
This area here?
Yeah, and don't touch it.
Not
okay,
touch it.
It's nice and sharp now.
Awesome.
That looks great.
I was going to say, the image is actually inverted, as many of you will know, especially looking at Paul's images and your earlier images, that sunspots are actually darker areas on the sun. But I tend to find that if I invert the image, it gives this lovely kind of 3D look to the image. Kind of gives it a much better sense of depth, because obviously these features do actually stand off and move around, because the sun is not like this smooth disk that just ripples like lava. It does have this kind of fluffy, for a giant death plasma ball, it has this lovely fluffy kind of looking texture to it. And I did actually like how this came out. It looks like these kind of almost waves of plasma are coming crashing in towards the sunspot. So probably a slightly overly poetic description, but that's how it looks.
You can be as poetic as you like, Chris.
Well, you know, I may be British, but my poetry skills are terrible. We need some French astronomers. I believe they're quite good at poetry. Specifically, the French astronomers. But yeah, I mean, I have to say that the sun is like this wonderfully dynamic area to look at. In fact, I will just come off that for a second, and I will screen share another image I took that afternoon. He says, trying to find it, because I have many folders, all really badly named pip something or other. There it is, lifting prom JPEG. Right then. Okay, my hard drive has to wake up. Bear with me a second. Darn you, hard drive. It's this whole power saving lark thing we do. Right, here we go. So hopefully in a second you should be able to see that little black and white image. And one of the prominences from the sun started to lift and travel outwards before it obviously got dragged screeching back down by the sun's incredible gravity. But yeah, it's a wonderfully dynamic thing, the sun. Well worth looking at, as long as you have the correct equipment to do so, because otherwise it's rather dangerous, and you will go blind.
That looks great, Chris.
Right then, I'm going to click on Paul, because Paul is back. And Paul has this lovely inverted... Why is it every time there's awesome filaments, I get clouds? So that's a lovely... Can you embiggen that, Paul? Can we zoom? There we go. Look at that. Wow. All right. Freeze it there. Look at that. Look at that filament there. Now, of course, if that was on the edge of the sun, that would be called a prominence. And that is a lovely sharp view. Now, Paul, which scope did you take this one with?
It's on the 80mm Lunt.
Nice. The old Lunt Coronado debate. That is, oh, look at that. Actually, if you just freeze it there for a second so it sharpens up, I mean, you can see that prominence there it's also a you can see how it wraps round the edge. I mean, the sun is this lovely. And I know, obviously, all these things are spheres and they're all three-dimensional. But for me, the sun just has, because of what sticks out of it, has this lovely three-dimensional feel to it. And fluffy. Would we not agree? Fluffy. In fact, it's a new scientific term. That's definitely a scientific term, right there. Fluffy. It's fluffiest. Right. I'm going to stop rambling about fluffy things now, but it's fluffy. The sun is fluffy. I love that.
That is a really stunning image. I really like the way the prominence kind of wraps around, so you can see that it's not just this flat object. It really is in stark 3D relief.
That is absolutely fantastic. Paul, once again, just showing us all how to do solar photography. Although I will catch him up one day. Maybe. I'll give it a go. Damien Peach is my initial target, though. Now, Stephen is also sharing a lovely view there. It appears something has interfered with his picture, though.
How correct you are. Actually, there were two things which interfered with this picture. It's maybe hard to tell about the second one. This is also from a week ago. I was shooting the Pinwheel Galaxy. This is Messier 101, and this is a 1-minute exposure with a 9.25-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope and a Hyperstar lens on the front with my Canon 70D. And you can very easily see a big streak running through the middle of the image, and that is a satellite that had gone through during the 1-minute exposure time. And that's really not that uncommon to have a satellite go through occasionally. But what is unusual is to have two satellites go through. And I'm going to zoom in just below the image here, and you're going to be able to see another streak there.
Yes.
Also, below the galaxy.
Tumbling as well.
Yeah, so I've got the streak below, the one satellite running along here, and a much larger one running along here. So within my 1-minute exposure, two satellites conspired to mess up my image here.
If it's not clouds, it's man-made objects just kicking around out there.
Always something, that's true. Always something.
Got to be something that just wants to come in and join the fun. In fact, if anyone, I think many solar imager will have known that, whilst you're looking at the sun, a bird can fly by or a plane can fly in front of the view, and it's quite impressive to actually watch. But it's always like, darn it, you ruined a perfectly good capture.
And although they can be averaged out if you use kind of standard deviation stacking. And if you've got enough frames, the processing software will kind of figure out that those pixels on that particular frame aren't real or aren't part of the main image.
And that's a lovely galaxy too. I'm just going to say. I mean, whilst the satellites are there, that's also a lovely galaxy too. Big fan of anything galactic. Now, Grant, how are the clouds treating you right now?
Oh, they're still clouded out here, Chris. It's a nightmare. Talking about things getting interfering with the sun and things like birds and planes, I bet Dylan was really perturbed at the International Space Station, got in the way of his nice moon picture.
It just ruined it, basically. Here I was taking a nice, perfectly good moonshot, and bam.
Now, we also have had, I'm going to say Hassan, join us as well. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon from Australia. It's Dr. Hassan Williams here from the Blue Mountains Observatory. Old friend of Dennis, actually.
Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Dylan, I finally made it.
What's news from the Blue Mountains Observatory?
Well, we had a really nice tour last night, and these people have never used a telescope before. And after a little bit of instruction, they actually took a remarkable image. And as long as I don't muck it up here, I'll just bring it up and show you. Now, these are people who have never used a telescope before. They've come here and they've used the 25-inch Planewave CDK, and as you can see, they pulled off quite a nice image.
Ooh.
M83.
Wow. That is
Now, they didn't guide it too well, but you can actually see here those 20th magnitude, 21 magnitude galaxies all in this area here.
grief. That's fantastic. Now, is this a purely luminance image? This is no filters or anything like that?
Just a luminance one. They did actually take a colour one of the Trifid Nebula. I can bring that up for you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and do you help them with stacking and that sort of thing?
Yeah, in this case, I sort of basically took the image. But yeah, this, as I said, it was it was no, that's the jewel box. Here we go.
No
Yes.
pressure.
Oh, yes. It's actually quite nice. It's just we've just got a bit of a blooming problem with it. So I'll just share that with you there. This was 5 minutes LRGB, but a little bit overexposed. And I had to do it at bin 2 because of the time involved.
see it,
It was a
yeah.
rather large group.
Ah, here we go. Yes, I can see it now.
Nice. Look at that. It's both I believe, a reflection and that's the other kind of nebula. Reflection and emission. That's the
Emission.
one. I'm learning slowly.
Very nice.
Wow.
Hey,
Not
Hassan,
blue,
can you give us some science about the Trifid and explain to people who don't know so much about emission and reflection what we're actually looking at?
Okay then. There are numerous types of nebulas, and reflection is sort of easy to sort of understand more than the others, really. The bottom part of it here, the blue area, as I said, it's in bin 2, which is half resolution, so it's a bit pixelated. But the blue area is actually a blue giant behind it, lighting up a dark nebula, hence the word reflection. So the blue giant's actually reflecting the light onto a dark nebula, lighting it up. However, in the case of the red area, you've got actually a birthplace of stars which is emitting the light. So the stars are actually inside the nebula. We've got a brand new star there in the middle there, a very bright one. In fact, that's magnitude 4.8 offhand. And that's actually emitting light inside the nebula. So you've got an emission nebula and a reflection nebula down the bottom. So the emission is the red and the other one's the blue. And interesting enough for movie buffs, when this object was first photographed by the California Institute of Technology's telescope back in the 50s, or the 40s I think it was, they actually used it in a old science fiction movie called The Day of the Triffids, which was
Really?
awful plants that came down to planet Earth and gobbled people up. So this is what it's all named after. Very close to the centre of our own galaxy, and in the constellation of Sagittarius.
Ah, fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. And I think Trifid actually comes from the word tri, or meaning bisected into 3, which describes that top emission that it does have that triple bisection. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely lovely. Now I have to ask. Sorry, what was the setup again to take those photos?
Sure, I can show you that. Stop smirking, Dylan.
I've been there.
Just because you've seen it. Okay, now I wasn't prepared for that one, so just do it.
And just so you know, Hassan works at the Blue Mountains Observatory in Australia, which is just north of Sydney, and you can actually you can stay there. You can go and spend a nice weekend in the Blue Mountains at a lovely cottage by the fire, And once all of your beautiful family have gone to bed, you can go and play with the telescopes all night. It's a fantastic setup.
Sounds like paradise to me. Actually, I'm also going to say, once we've had a look at this blue mountain, oh, look at that. Okay, that's ridiculous. Okay, that's
Now that's one of them.
that's one of them. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I need to save up. like a lot. I mean, I complain about fork mounts, but you know what? It's fine. It's not an issue.
Yeah, that's a hell of a wedge.
Yeah, right. That's a heck of a wedge. That's ridiculous. Now, Grant, no pressure or anything, but if you can, I don't know if you could tilt your camera or give us a view of your setup right now and show us kind of what you're imaging the clouds with. Now, you see, Grant is currently in Cornwall, England, and he has a little setup there. Well, I say little setup. That's pretty awesome to have a dedicated space. That's lovely.
Yeah, it's a 14-inch LX200 Meade pier mounted in this main observatory. I have a 12-inch LX90 Meade, well, it's the wife's, in the dome next door. And I have my Takahashi on a Skywatcher EQ6 Pro mount with an FS60 as a guide scope. But the roof's shut at the moment, so it's too cloudy at the moment, Chris.
Ah, dear, yes, those wretched clouds. But if there are clouds, we can bring you the equivalent of, well, let's put it this way, beautiful views of telescopes that we would normally take photos of stuff in space with. In fact, I'm going to join the current running theme of looking at telescopes, because we can't bring you that, and that this is my little beast that I photographed the sun with. And visually check it out as well. In fact, that's why the tube's out here, because it's the focus for my eyeballs. If you want to focus at the camera, it's normally more like about here, generally speaking. So either I've got really bad eyesight, or my camera's quite different to my eyeballs. But if I take the cap off, you can see it kind of gives you this kind of blue glow back, because that blocks out.
I want one.
Yeah. Yep. We only. Oh, now see, Grant's doing the same thing. See, check it out. You see? Oh, that one's that. You've got the double stack. You've got a double stack going on there. You can tell it's got that bit in the front. Lovely. You see, we could all bring you a bit of. Well, I'm going to use the word scope porn. Just saying. And look at that. You see now? That thing's huge. You see, this is when you know it's an expensive hobby. In fact, there's a joke actually we shared out on the show before it went live. If you never want your kids to get into drugs and alcohol, get them into astronomy, because they just won't have the money left for the drugs and alcohol. So it's sound parenting advice. Right. They'll also never have money for food, because this is ridiculously addictive hobby. But, it's well worth checking out. But you see, Dylan's bringing us more live. See, let's skip to a bit of live now, folks.
Now, I remember last week you told me I wasn't allowed to cut my hair until I brought you something that wasn't using the Hyperstar. So I brought you the International Space Station and live views. So I think I'm due for another haircut.
I don't know. This is still pretty wide field, by my reckoning. I'm just saying. Not really that much zoom. I know, right? Actually, I'll leave it in the. You can put on the event page, folks, or you can tweet at us, or you can put it in the Q&A. Do you think Dylan's allowed to cut his hair yet, or do you think we need more magnification for him? Leave your feedback in the comments and Q&A. Talking about the Q&A, actually, there's an interesting comment here. Actually, I'm going to scroll down for this one because someone asked earlier if anyone can lick their elbow. So. No, none of us can lick our elbows.
Yeah, we've had our first troll.
Right.
We've played it.
Actually, I had an epic troll earlier, but. Hey, all right.
I've actually got a magic trick for the global Astro hangout here.
Nice.
It's a bit of a magic trick.
Go on then. Go on.
Okay, now there's a little magic word that you've got to use. Okay, now I take it you can see my whole screen now. Is that how it all works?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So there's a little magic word. Just minimize this. Minimize this. Minimize this. Sorry, I'm on the telescope control PC. And just bring up the isn't that annoying? The actual oh, I can hide that. Can I? Good. Okay. Now I want to. Oh, I know. I've got to actually share the picture, don't I?
Yes.
You can see the image capture.
Yes, I can see that.
I got it now. Okay. Now, sitting behind me in the chair, I don't know if you noticed, there was a gigantic column. Now, if I just bring this down, it's probably going to be worth it when I get it all sized up properly. I'm really embarrassed. This is taking far too long.
No pressure, no pressure.
Far too long. Actually, okay, just flew over here. Unsafe. Oh, that's unsafe. That's unsafe. And here we go here. So we'll put this over here, and I'll just wait till it sort of resolves on everybody's screen.
Okay.
And we'll just a little bit bigger for everyone. And okay. Now, this is a live video image coming from above me. I'm actually sleeping underneath the observatory.
Right.
And you can see there the C-14 facing
Yes.
In the background, my 10-inch LX200, which I show people, and in the foreground, the end of my 5-inch refractor, and at the end of that is the 12-inch, beautiful 12-inch with the ST10. But there is a sort of a magic word, and I wonder if anybody knows what a magic word is to open something.
Normally, abracadabra, but or not abracadabra. Open sesame.
What's happening?
Oh wow! Nice.
I want one of those too.
I want one of them too. Now I am going to jump over to Kevin very, very quickly because he joined us sneakily, and the shutters are opening. That is awesome. And Kevin has live Venus during the daytime.
Oh wow!
It's Kevin.
It's Kevin. He's scoring one. Live Venus, which is also somewhere near Jupiter, but we won't put any pressure on Kevin with regards to that. But anyhow, no audio. Kevin has suffering, no audio. But we can say hello to Kevin anyhow. Now, Kevin has been on the show.
Seeing as Kevin has no audio, can maybe Dr. Hassan give us a bit of insight for those who don't know about Venus and the crescent?
Okay. First of all, my name is Hassin, as in haha laugh, and sin as in bad thing. Hassin.
Hassin.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Venus has no surface detail. Yeah, I can see it now. Venus has no surface detail at all. And of course, the left-hand side, which is obviously west, is the sun, and it's just reflecting its light on it. So there you are. It's just illuminating the planet, just like the sun illuminates the moon. So you sort of see like a phase there. And Venus and very, very close together at the moment.
That is fantastic. I like that. I mean, you can see obviously that Kevin there is fighting seeing conditions. I don't know if he's got any cloud about. I don't want to jinx it though, so I'm not going to suggest there might be any cloud. So, no cloud. Keep the cloud away. But look at that live views from Kevin. Actually, is this Kevin's first set of live views on the show? Are we getting firsts? Are we getting like a first live from Dylan and first live from Kevin?
That's right.
Hello, man. Now, Paul.
I think the Australians are doing quite well.
Yeah, I know, right? Paul's just been completely skanked on views, but And in the daylight as well, Kevin. You know, genius.
Impressive.
Yeah, right.
Very impressive.
In fact, you know, Grant there has got a round of applause there as well. So that's look at that. I mean, Venus is a beautiful object to look at, and shows these wonderful phases really distinctly as well. But it's pretty much the brightest object you can see as the sun is either coming up or going down, depending on the time of year. Except the sun, of course, that's way bright, and you don't look at that directly. But that's lovely. And if you were looking at this in ultraviolet light, which allows you to see the cloud details on Venus as well. So Venus doesn't really show any details unless you're looking in kind of ultraviolet end of the spectrum. But hey, check you out, Kevin. Nice work. And I'm going to click on Paul here, who has giant explosions. Giant fiery explosions. Which poor old Venus is quite near to. Yeah, very plasma-y. There's a lot of plasma going on there. Look at that. Now, the plasma there you're seeing is actually following these huge, twisted magnetic loops that kind of bring it back down, which it follows, I think due to the charge in those magnetic loops. Kind of the plasma adheres to and then drops back down to the sun. When was this shot, Paul?
It was from the start of last month.
Fantastic. That is quite the view. And how long? I mean, how long is the sequencing? Like real time? How long did this take?
That was shot over 100 minutes.
Nice. It really shows how dynamic the sun is, even in a short amount of time. I could watch that all day. Actually, that's quite hypnotic to watch. That's absolutely fantastic. And now. Grant here is zooming. What are we looking at here, Grant?
Yeah, that was taken a couple of years ago. That's the Horsehead Nebula in Orion. Orion's up here during the day, obviously, so I have to wait till the winter time to see quite a few of the lovely objects that are actually in there, with obviously the two Messier objects, M42 and M43. And Orion as well. I'm looking forward to seeing that in the winter time again. Always a lovely object to image, the Horsehead.
I have tried and tried and tried light pollution, but now I'm hopefully going to have some hydrogen alpha filtering, so I'll be able to see it. Yes! Can't wait. Now, believe it or not, almost an hour has actually passed. So much for the whole short show thing, Dylan. We've done pretty well, despite clouds. Perfect clouds.
It was actually action-packed. And I want to apologise, we didn't get to all the Flickr photos today. It is a fantastic group, and I do encourage people to get out and look at it. I'd just like to quickly run through a few of them, if that's okay, Chris.
Oh, I'll lay off. Go on then. It's quite pretty.
So this is from Hugh, the Great Carina Nebula. Hugh was on the show last week, showing us how he images from the middle of Sydney, doing this narrowband work and getting amazing results. This is a massive southern sky object, and the Trifid that you saw before is probably only about that big, where I'm highlighting my cursor. This nebula doesn't even fit in the frame. It is so large. And there's a few more from him as well, M16 and M8. Please go check them out. Here's one from Sharin, otherwise known as Sharin, otherwise known as Stargazer on Google+. Venus and Jupiter, which he imaged throughout June, which is really great. And sunrise over the Copernicus crater from Ralph Smith. Thanks very much, guys, for contributing to the Flickr group. It's just fantastic work.
I was going to say, now I had some interesting technical problems as the show started, so I had all sorts of looping and weird mutiness and all sorts going on. So I apologise for the shaky start, but I would like to do a proper job of thanking everyone that has joined us this morning, this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you for Dylan for finally bringing us alive.
Anytime. Happy to be here.
He says any time, but the clouds will try to jeopardize that as best as
You know
possible.
what I mean.
Now, Dylan, where can we check out your amazing astronomy work, etc.?
Well, the traffic spike has been on Diography.com. That's like geography, but with a D. Diography.com.
Awesome. Check it out. There's obviously that epic ISS in front of the moon photo, and all your other work as well, I presume. I need to check that out properly myself. I had a glance. I need to have a proper look at that. That's fantastic. I would like to say thank you to Grant for being up with me at stupid o'clock in the morning.
That's no problems at all, Chris. Pleasure. And thanks for your swift response on getting me into the room, Dylan. Much appreciated. Much
Yeah, no problem.
Now, Grant, I was just wondering, as you're a newcomer to the show, and hopefully going to come back and join us again, whereabouts can we find any of the stuff that you take?
Well, I'm director of the Tulkarm Research and Education Observatory. I also have a PhD in astrophysics as well. So the Tulkarm Observatory website has quite a lot of pictures that we take here. It's mainly education that we do here. We have a lot of school visits coming to the observatory, and my wife Kim runs the astronomy group here.
Fantastic, and lovely to meet you both, and thank you for joining us. And of
Pleasure.
course, we have from another observatory. We sound very professional tonight with people with observatories. We have Hassan. Now then, Blue Mountain Observatory. I'm assuming there's a website for that one.
Yes, and look, I just want to pass my comment, or two comments. One, it's really nice to hear accents from home. I'm actually from Barnstable originally. The pier behind me is actually straight that holds a 24-inch. It's not that bent over. It just looks really, really worrisome through my camera. It's bluemountainobservatory.com.au. bluemountainsobservatory.com.au. And we got lots of telescopes for you. Look, if you're a beginner or advanced, and you can of course operate all our telescopes over the internet.
Wow, I am going to check that out. I am definitely going to check that out. Now, Kevin, I believe, doesn't have any audio still. In fact, he's just a lovely picture of Saturn currently. Oh, there is some noise, but it sounds like you've turned into a cyborg. Ooh, that's kind of spooky. Now, Kevin Franklin, you can find on Google+. I know that for darn sure because I've seen his epic photo of Saturn on there and all sorts of stuff. So you should check out what he gets up to, whilst he makes very eerie clicking noises. But here's a very pretty picture of Saturn right now, so we can all appreciate him bringing Saturn to the show. And we also have Paul Stewart as well, who is also a pretty picture. We've turned into icons. Everyone's turned into icons again. Now, Paul Stewart takes amazing photos of the sun and all sorts of stuff. So you'll have to check him out. I'm doing terrible at remembering people's links, but I will put all the links on the YouTube event page, etc., so everyone can find everyone else and check out everyone's work. And we have had Stephen join us from Southern America. Whoa! Wow. I am going to go and mute Kevin because that's terrifying. So, Stephen, hello.
Hello. I'm glad to be with you guys finally on one of these. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to get something live for you if we ever get clear weather here. It's summertime in North America. We typically get very cloudy skies in the evenings here, so may not be too soon, but we'll do our best.
That would be awesome, and thank you for joining us. Now, if we want to check out when you have clear skies and you're able to photograph stuff, if we want to check out some of your stuff, where can we find you?
Well, basically, I post a good bit to Google Plus as well. I post a good bit to the space community there, the amateur astronomy community. I also have Flickr and Instagram pages, and maybe I can share those with you offline so you can post them somewhere.
Awesome. I will grab some links and stick them on the YouTube share out video, and we'll also put them on Twitter and things like that as well. So you'll be able to check out everyone that's brought us both live views and epic pictures. But thank you for joining us from wherever you are. I'm glad we finally were able to bring you some live from Dylan, and we also got some live Venus from Kevin, which was pretty awesome. We did get some live Sun from Paul, and before the show we actually got some live Moon as well. But unfortunately, Grant got kind of just lots of clouds, which is a very British thing to have, to be fair. So to be honest with you, it did bring us a bit of, bit of the homeland. And first of all, I'd like to say thanks to everyone. Also, happy 4th of July to everyone in America. Congratulations on the fireworks and beer. Enjoy yourselves, and I hope your hangover tomorrow isn't too bad. Thank you for joining us at the Global Star Party. It's a little bit crazy show tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I'm always a bit more rambling on these shows because I've just completed a bar shift. Got home, grabbed a cup of coffee, and it's now just gone 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm gonna be snoring very loudly very soon.
I think you've done really well, Chris, and thanks again for hosting another great episode of the Global Star Party for us.
Well, I try. I'm a bit blurry-eyed right now, but, I give it a go. And hey, eventually I might actually be able to do some live nighttime views myself and stop getting beaten by everyone else. So I would like
to do all the rambling.
Well, yes, then I can get you to do all the rambling, and people are like, hey, Dylan's the crazy one, not the British guy that just talks incessantly at the camera. But to wrap up, you can follow us on Twitter at Global Star Party. We tweet out pictures from the Flickr group. We tweet out event information, things like that. In fact, Paul is the boss. Oh, sorry, Kevin just made me chuckle then. He's like, I thought it was a 1 p.m. start here. Wretched time zones. I'm paraphrasing there. It wasn't quite that. But anyhow, yes, time zones. They're an interesting thing, that's for sure. You can find us on Google+, Global Star Party, nice, easy thing. In fact, anywhere like Instagram, I think, do we have an Instagram? I think we're working on Instagram. I'm not sure. I know we have a Flickr, and a Twitter, and a Google+. We're not doing Facebook, because Facebook is awful. I'm just saying, right now, Facebook... absolutely terrible. No. Well, maybe one day.
Chris?
Yes.
Look, I know you're wrapping up. I just wanted to quickly pass a comment, if I may. I tried because of the time difference. It's not night at the moment. I've actually purchased a G-Star, which is sort of like a .0001 lux video camera, and a capture card. Especially for this program, so I can actually put the camera in the end of the 12-inch at f2, and I've got a composite lead down on a capture card here. So when it's night here, people can actually request any object they want. The telescope will slew, and you can see down to around about 12th magnitude. It's a video camera. It's a bit noisy, but it's extremely sensitive and should be quite exciting for the show in the future when it's dark in Australia.
That would be great.
Fantastic. Alrighty, so not only are you able to look at live views, you may be able to literally just point and look at what you want. That is brilliant. Thank you very much. That's a thing. Hey, check it out. We're actually getting really kind of we got PhD kind of knowledge going on with Grant here, and we got observatories, and we got live views of the sun. We even had an asteroid last week, so it's going pretty well despite the rambling. So I am going to shush now. I am going to say thank you very much for joining us. It's been a little bit manic. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you'll join us again. And that's it from the Global Star Party, your once a week live cloud view with astronomical objects too. Thank you everyone for joining us.